Yes, guys. Morning, team. Do you know what? I sat in a beautiful old country home near my old haunt, my old stomping ground down in the southeast outside of London, and I thought I'd jump on my iPad and just hang out for a bit because I had the privilege of going to Wodaptive yesterday, Sunday the 15th of February, and got to hang out with a couple of new friends and acquaintances, one of which, Abby Wynne Jones, who is a games athlete, went to Las Vegas for the Adaptive Games last year and came away with a bronze for the Brits. I got to hang out with Abby as what would you call it? She lived up to expectations. She's a very, very smart woman, a very competitive woman. What I love to see, just like any athlete. But do you know what? A lot to consider, and a lot came out of it. A lot to walk away with. A lot of information and education from my point of view, which has got the wheels turning a bit. But yeah, it was. Do you know what Nigel and the team have done? Craig um, from the gym and also from helping organising it. Top guy, top guy. Had a good chat with him. Talked about like accreditation for gyms and that kind of thing. He's an excellent guy. He runs a kind of called Alt Movement, which is his gym, but it's also through his own experience and through his own education, with a guy called Ben down on the south coast, who also does his own adaptive coaching seminars and training sessions, and it's also accredited. Trying to get more people, more coaches into the space. And we had a big talk about this actually because it's not that people, able-bodied people, uh, aren't tricky one to articulate really. It's not that they don't have the compassion or the level of care to put in. It's usually, and this is, I'm guilty of this. It's actually, well, Greg said it, the word fear. It's the fear of getting it wrong and the fear of not being right and doing someone just as, what they deserve. And personally, I found out the last sort of year or 2 years working with the mighty Claire, and obviously Alfie as well, who I'm taking to the Commonwealths in July. I know it's cliche, but disabilities come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. They all look differently, and to say that you fear it, or you can't or don't have a place in that ecosphere is very. Not only is it naive, but it's doing yourself an injustice because we've got so many good coaches in our space, so many. And I was talking to a friend last night about this, and the way that I see it is it's more problem solving. It's actually really good fun. Like looking at the programming yesterday, an example. So the Wodaptive yesterday was pairs, and it was one able-bodied athlete and one disabled athlete or adaptive athlete, and it was a pairs workout, all four of them, throughout the day. And what an incredible setup, by the way. Incredible. I'll come on to that in a minute. But it was four pairs workouts, and the true genius of what the guys have done is the fact that the adaptations for the athletes with the disabilities were really on par. There was a lot of parity between the different divisions, and they were all competing against each other. And it was so cool to see, just from purely from like a a logistics perspective, a puzzle solving perspective. Because I think after a while, like when we first start as CrossFit coaches, we love the programming, we love the coaching, and we get a bit like I've seen a few videos, one from Grant, one from Hiller, going on about the open, talking about washed out, talking about the programming's getting boring, stagnant. I will tell you where the programming hasn't got stagnant, and by definition won't. It's the adaptive divisions. If you want to see incredible programming, really thought-provoking programming, and talk about knowledge of the human anatomy, if you truly want to like work purely from a how can I get the most out of someone perspective, look in the adaptive divisions, man. It is right there, staring you in the face the whole time. I made a lot of a lot. I made a few videos over yesterday, but I'll be honest, not as much as I wanted to. And the reason that I didn't make as much as I wanted to is that I was just captivated. It was more, and Abby said this on a post earlier this morning. It was more. It was a massive education piece. I was just stood there, eyes open, thinking, why haven't why isn't this talked about more? This is proper CrossFit. This like if you think about what we pride ourselves on CrossFit, it's community coaching and programming, really. If you think about the nuts and bolts of it all, those three things are completely unique to us, and everyone else sort of copies us or takes parts of what we do and claims it's theirs. Think High Rocks, Athex, whatever you want. They're all basically just watered down CrossFit events. But you think about what we pride ourselves on and what we do the best, and it's coaching, community, and programming. Now, coaching, I've always had, and I've always said this, haven't I? I've always had this thing about the elite coaching. It's very, for me, it's very dull. There's very little that I get from it, and that's why I haven't ever pursued it, because it doesn't really give me much as a coach and as a human. It's the ultra fit doing ultra fit things, and it's minutia, and it's not really, big wins for me. The my my the way that I get fun is seeing people making big wins, and it's not through wanting to claim those wins. It's the fact that you see the elation and you see the difference in their lives that you make. And that's always at the grassroots level, right? Usually. So from a programming perspective, for me, it's the same thing. Being able to see these incredible genius moves in programming compared to your usual sorry, excuse me, just gonna grab a can of Monster. Probably want to sponsor me, Monster, eh? But the programming, talk about genius. Programming gets a bit dull often at the top, and what I saw yesterday was almost tailored, but not. It was the broad stroke programming for everyone, obviously, and then adaptations being made, and the ability to do that with the knowledge of these disabilities was just like unparalleled, and it was truly remarkable to see, and that's even before the insane humans walk out or roll out to do the actual workouts, and then you watch them, and there were so many moments yesterday where you know every now and again you'll get Tia and her daughter comes up, Willow, whatever her name is, comes up on the screen, and everyone goes, "Oh, isn't it cute?" Or, "Oh, it's heartfelt. Oh, it means their emotions, they're athletes, but they have emotions." It, it- every fucking lane in every heat of this competition, there was heartfelt moments. There was massive obstacles being overcome. There were family members in tears watching their relative or their friend who in every other walk of life is treated mostly like a lesser person, and the hurdles and obstacles these people have to overcome purely just to get by in life, and then they are put in this lane and they become fucking athletes and superhumans. And you saw, like, there's one girl called Dolly who's got cerebral palsy. She's in a chair, and her dad John, I think Dolly's 19. I could be wrong. She's either 19 or 20. Um, and her dad John, who actually I've got it written down here. Hold the phone. Dolly is 19. And her dad John is 64. And he was doing the event with her, and their mum Fleur was watching, spectating, and it was it was do you know what, it was truly beautiful. The the bonding between father and daughter was beautiful to watch. Fleur being stood back, mum watching dad and daughter training and working out together, and Dolly, who's 19, wheelchair user with cerebral palsy, able to train lifting kettlebells, ski erg, rolling over plates, um, doing a rope pull gizmo. Forgive me, I can't remember the name of the actual machine. But seeing Dolly and her dad in a lane next to another guy who went to the games, who's also in the British basketball team, I think. There were so many damn people there, and this is the thing, right? So, like I said, like Tia's moments when she's crying because Willow's on the screen, everyone remembers that because it's probably the only moment over the week where there's any emotion or or heartfelt feelings are there, or some kind of compassionate response is there by the crowd. And yet every single person in every single lane, in every single one of these workouts, in every heat, you had that. And if you want a human connection, even away from what they're actually doing, away from the performance of these athletes, which is mind blowing, by the way. Watch the adaptives. It's incredible. And the rig, Alan Rigman, as they called it, that was a monster rig. I got quite a bit of. Sorry, my camera's just moving. I got a bit of footage about that, but yeah. So I spoke to Nigel a little bit. He was obviously fairly busy. Nigel, the organizer, who's the man. Big up the Nige. And then she hung out with Abby. My kids came along. They both had their favourites. They liked Abby a lot. I'm hoping Abby will be on the show next week with me for her first show, which will be awesome. I'm hoping Abby can give some insight into what it takes to be a competitive athlete. That's something I know nothing about, not being one myself. But I'm also really interested talking to Abby about some of the topics we picked up on over the weekend. We had some pizzas on Saturday night in Alt Movement, which is Craig's gym, which is on the premises where the Wodaptive event took place, which, by the way, is insane. The gym is just incredible. But yeah, we touched on some conversations, and I really want to delve into some of them. There's some that are really going to be tough, tough conversations, things like unconscious bias in programming and event organizers, which I think is a tough one, because until you start thinking about it, it's like a logic puzzle. Until you start thinking about it, you don't really think there's a problem, and you can't see why there is one. It's no one's fault. And again, we need to be able to talk about these things and these conversations and topics without people feeling like on the defensive, without people feeling like they're being accused or they're to blame of something. CrossFit, not HQ, I say CrossFit as the whole ecosphere. We've got some work to do, getting people in our gyms, whether it be Hannah working with the academy program, getting youngsters into it, people from disadvantaged backgrounds getting into it, looking at the cost versus value of CrossFit. It is a higher cost, but cost and the value that we get aren't the same thing. Yes, there is a higher cost to CrossFit, and the barrier of entry is there. And what a shame that might be as a private entity. What a shame that might be that we haven't got the ability to give that to people. Why don't we explore options down there? Like John Woolley came on with Stephen last week, was talking about that. Abby, who works in the government, we were talking about the opportunity to get people potentially, like, sponsored or coming into gyms that are subsidized and that kind of thing. Like, we've got a lot of opportunity and grants and innovations in the UK where we can support that. And although I know CrossFit is a US brand, we need to think about it. And part of the premise of this whole channel is we need to think more about it locally. It's up to us to be doing that. We can't rely on a multinational American business to give a shit about local interests in CrossFit. And one thing that I'm really, really, really happy about is Gareth and Andy and Ollie, obviously, are really keen to explore and to innovate and to bring things forward and to listen to the gyms and listen to affiliate owners, listen to our third parties, including myself, and work with us on these initiatives and trying to grow what we've got, because we've got so much. We just need a bit of direction. And I think a lot of this has to come from us rather than HQ. It's not necessarily their responsibility to be on the ground. Like, that's part of our role. Part of our role as local community leaders is to lead the way and show people out there what we're doing. Think about like the Shingle Deckers over in Ohio. What they did. There was nothing from HQ or CrossFit doing that. They pioneered that. They did it, and then they brought it to the table. We've got to get used to the idea that we don't get everything given to us. If we have an idea and we want to run with it, we have to run with it, and then we lay our cards on the table and say, here's what we've got, let's go. And 9 times out of 10, you'll probably be told no, but there is that 1 out of 10. If it's a good idea and it can work and you can make it happen, there's no reason things can't go forward. I think there's so much potential for the growth of CrossFit in the UK, not only with your typical 18 to 45-year-old people that have got 2 kids, the typical CrossFitter. There are so many people outside of that that would thrive in our gyms, and a really fucking good example of that was yesterday at Wodaptive. How often have you been into a CrossFit gym and seen a disabled person working out? Each gym, your typical gym will have 0. Every few gyms you go to might have 1 or 2 people that they know instantly. Wouldn't it be beautiful if we get to a point where every gym has the capacity, the education, and the space to help local disabled charities, or NHS have referrals, or local charities can refer? It can be done. Hannah's doing it with young people. There's so many different ways of doing this, but we need to lead the way. We need to be the ones that, and Abby said it so well to me yesterday, and I don't want to misquote her, but there might be, and this is in inverted commas here, paraphrasing, there might be a finite amount of effort that you can give. There might be a finite amount of things that you can do for groups of people, but have you done that amount? Have you hit that that line, that barrier, that top barrier of the amount of effort you can put in. And until you feel like you have done that, you can't say that why bother. We need to put in that effort. And people like Craig, people like Nigel, people like Hannah, people like Wooly that are pushing that narrative. And albeit I don't know what he's actually physically doing, but he's using his platform for that. And I can't help but think that there's a lot more we can do as a squad, as a team, as a tribe, as a group, as a force, whatever you want to call us at CrossFit. Like, it's all well and good just wanting the athletes and the quote unquote norms who come to CrossFit, your 18 to 42-year-old female with 1.8 kids or whatever it is, that from Two Brain, that the data and the information over the last 10 years. Like, and even if you think purely, if you think like a greedy git and you think financially, like, how many people out there how have you reached your quota? Have you reached your cap for members? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want new markets to open up? Do you want new people in your gym? Do you want to liven up the community a bit? Do you want, like, all of this stuff? Do you want, if you're someone that's pushing the open in your gym, and you are publicizing numbers and you're saying how well the open's going to be, how many of them are registered wheel wad? How many of them are doing it from an adaptive division? How cool would it be if you had an adaptive athlete doing the open at your gym? Like, have you done enough towards that? And it's not finger pointing, it's not blame game, it's not you're guilty of anything. It's like, here's another opportunity for you as a gym owner, as a coach. Why not seize that opportunity? It's a really cool, fun, incredibly rewarding, altruistic thing that you can do to broaden and to open your gym to more people. And again, it's not blaming, it's not pointing the finger, it's not saying you're wrong or you haven't done something. It's why not give it a go? And it's something that this question and this narrative that I've had, I've suspected it for a while, but I had it confirmed to me over the weekend. I'm not doing enough. There's so much perspective, and that's on my tiny little island in the Irish Sea where I live. There's a lot of people that could thrive and make um make CrossFit on the island, even better than it already is. So why not? And I think we've got I think we had close to 600 affiliates at last count about a month ago. If we had one if we have one extra adaptive athlete come on board at each of the affiliates, that's 600 people that we could completely revolutionize and change their lives across the UK simply by doing what we're already doing, which would be pretty cool. So anyway, overall, well, not overall, 100% would recommend. And also, last point on this was, it was very bittersweet. Okay, so I was talking to Nigel about this, and sweet as so much as it was just incredible, the setup, the hall, the kit, the rig, the athletes, the programming, the music was amazing. DJ, shout out to the DJ, I can't remember her name. I was too busy looking the other way. The guy on the mic, everyone that was there, the organizers, the judges, everyone. It was amazing. That's the sweet side of it. The bitter side is that it's the second largest adaptive competition outside of the CrossFit Games. Why? Why isn't there more of this going on around the globe? Like, why not? I think there probably should be. But like I said, the way to frame this and the way to see it is an incredible opportunity, not only for people with disabilities to be able to train and do something new and do functional fitness and do what we constantly varied functional fitness performed at high intensity, the thing that we love so much and we preach about on this channel and other channels all the time. But what an opportunity for us as a not as a brand, but as a movement, as a tribe, if you've never been to an adaptive competition, if you've never explored the programming, if you've never spoke to an adaptive athlete, if you've never worked with one, if you're a coach, if you are after an incredibly rewarding, hard, puzzle solving, very rewarding role this year or a new challenge, find out if there's any athletes or advertise or put the feelers out there. Go to your local GP and say, are you running a referral scheme, which there is in the UK. Explore the options. Go online. Go message Nigel at Wodaptive. Speak to people in the industry. Go to Craig and ask his advice. There's so many people that are out there, but we need to grow it. And I'm holding my hands up here. I've been away from this, and I'm hoping that through a few options and a few ventures that we can make it more of a common practice. So there we go. So Wodaptive, 10 out of 10. And I can't wait to go to the next one. And it was nice to see Jason and George there filming stuff. Jason was actually competing, which was fun to watch. He's very nervous, but he did very well, better than I did because I didn't do anything. Been feeling a bit rough this week. I haven't actually trained since, what day is it today? Monday. I haven't trained since Wednesday now. Last thing I did was some squats, Hatfields, become a favourite of mine. And do you know what I did on the boat? Because we got the ferry over from the island to Liverpool and then drove down to Essex where the competition was. I wrote a program called the Ultimate Human Program that I'm going to run for 6 weeks, which should be fun. Yeah. Now I don't know how the video quality is going to be because I've got my portable 4K camera, but issue is I haven't got anywhere to rest it, so I'm using the iPad one. So I hope it's not too bad. Anyway, thought I'd jump on for half an hour just to chat. Totally unprompted, unplanned, unscheduled. Just to get some info out there, just to say hi. I'm going to work on putting a poster together for the shows we've got coming up this week. It is Monday today. We've got a couple of really cool shows this week. Where is he? We've got Tom Kingdon coming on with Steve on Wednesday. He's moved to Brute, so that should be pretty cool to understand why he's gone there and how it's been for him. Got Stephen on Friday. He has got Carl Russell, who's an event organizer and affiliate owner and very good athlete from Scotland. And they're not going to talk about rugby, I've been assured. He's coming on Friday. Yoni Boy and I will be on Thursday for another barnstorming episode of Never Mind the Box. And then the weekend we've got a couple of things planned. And then the following weekend, oh, you know what happens the following weekend, don't you? The Open. So that should be an interesting week ahead. I will hopefully jump on again at some point this week solo and explore a couple of different bits and pieces. I don't have my laptop with me. I don't have my computer, so I've got nothing to pull up today. But hopefully we can get the ball rolling again when I get home. Once I've got rid of this bloody cold. But yeah, we're off for a walk in a minute. We're at my brother's house. In the English countryside. So we're going to do that. But yeah, anyway, hope you have a lovely day, guys. Cheers for watching. And all the best for everyone. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Bye for now.